Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with our tech guests, but as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, don't hit that fast forward button. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director. They're all great. I trust them. I want you to trust them too. So take the next 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Tech Tuesday segment, and then go and visit each one of these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We'd like to thank Hometown Ticketing for their support. Hometown is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. And if you go to hometownticketing.com, their team is going to show you how to create online ticketing at your school, not just for athletic events, but things like school plays and concerts, school dances, even graduation. And here's the best part. Every account gets a dedicated client success manager that's going to provide you hands-on support every step of the way. That's every step of the way. Go to hometownticketing.com. It's digital ticketing that offers more. We'd like to thank Gipper for their support. You know, your students are on social media, and if they're not seeing content that celebrates their accomplishments and promotes your program, you're really missing out. Go to Gipper.com. They're going to have you creating world-class content in seconds on any device. That's Gipper.com. We'd like to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the events, or your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's also a great way to show off your school's unique history and brag about your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. We'd like to thank Snap Raise for their support. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and then been disappointed in the results? Those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. Hands down the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with great success. It works. Coaches loved it. Parents loved it. Go to snapraise.com. You can take a look at their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it. Go to snapraise.com. We want to say thank you to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our student athletes loved the videos, and our parents loved the streaming, but there's a lot more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We'd like to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their scoreboards in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. You're going to be very glad you did. We want to say thank you to Ohio University and their online master's program. Now, I didn't get my master's degree from Ohio University, but my assistant AD did, and it was just great. He also was able to complete 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at the same time for the same price. It's an affordable 20-month, totally online program that's also going to give you a nationwide network of athletic administrators. To get more information, just go to ohio.edu/info/MAA, the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration. We'd also like to thank Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform that you will use every single day, whether it's scheduling, results, communication. How about athletic eligibility and clearance? Who doesn't do that every day? Home Campus does all of this and a lot more, and it does it better and faster than other platforms. To get started, just go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. And we'd like to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. You know, athletic directors already get feedback, but usually it's from a very small group that only wants to gripe. Athletic Surveys will connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% that support your program. And that information is incredibly valuable, especially when you're talking to a frustrated parent or maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They'll create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. athleticsurveys.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We've got a 2-for-1 today. We're going to be visiting with Riley Connolly. She's with Hometown Ticketing, one of our great sponsors. You hear me say just about every episode, Hometown's the leading digital ticketing provider to high schools and colleges. We're going to hear from Riley. We're also going to be visiting today with Derek Koonts. Derek is the Assistant Athletic Director for the Klein ISD Independent School District, and that's in Klein, Texas. If you're looking at Texas, it's sort of close to Houston, but we're excited to have both Riley and Derek on Tech Tuesday today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Jake.
For our listeners, we're recording this on July 31st, so it's going to be very timely while you're listening to it. And the idea is sort of a fall readiness, back to school, back to practice approach. Riley, regular listeners hear me talk about Hometown Ticketing every single week, but share a little bit about what you do with Hometown Ticketing and, maybe something you would like our athletic directors who are listening to be aware of in this whole, fall readiness mindset.
Yeah. So at Hometown, we provide digital ticketing to all the K through 12 space. We are the leading digital ticketing provider, and the one thing that I do best is build relationships, and I get to do that a lot with a lot of amazing athletic directors and help our platform service their schools. It's also a way for us to give back in the community and make sure that these kids are getting the exact same ticketing that you would see at a professional level, but they get to experience that at high school. But also we make it easy for the fans too.
Yeah. In Florida and every year at the national conference, and I do a lot of traveling, a lot of speaking in the AD world. And I hear that again and again, that it's that relationship between Hometown, the provider, and the school-based AD that makes it stand apart. There's a lot of great providers out there, but the ones that I talk to, very passionate about their relationship with Hometown. Derek, you told me before we came on, you've been using Hometown Ticketing now for a couple of years at Klein ISD, and you talked about that special relationship that you have. Can you explain that to let's say a cynical athletic director who's listening right now that might not currently be using Hometown? How has that worked out for you at Klein?
Absolutely. So as an athletic director, there's so many different facets of what we do and what we touch, and there's the right tool for the job. And we have so many different jobs. And the digital ticketing platform has just kind of revolutionized what we've been able to do. And we kind of reached a stagnant point with a previous provider and really wanted to drill down with our digital tickets all the way to the intermediate to really maximize our process and our fan and student athlete experience. And I always say the proof of the pudding's in the eating. And there's no better advertisement than word of mouth. So when I talk to another athletic director and we're talking digital ticketing, they talk Hometown and then they talk Riley. And it is great things. And they know the level of service they're going to get is second to none. And it's not just a statement or a slogan, that there's action behind the words. And it's just not empty words.
No, again, it's very easy to see at the state conferences, the national conference, and other venues that those Hometown users, they are very loyal. Riley, digital ticketing, it's it's obvious it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. But Hometown has really, I think, been at the forefront of adding new features and innovations. We just had Danielle Clay on a couple of weeks ago, and she talked just very briefly. We didn't give her a chance to go into it about some new features. Can you share a couple of those with our listeners?
Yeah. So, a couple of features that we've come out with recently is going to be the self check-in. So you have the ability to scan or to self check-in, depending on what your needs are. You do have those choices. And then the other ones that we have coming out, we have offline scanning and we have automated reporting. Automated reporting is great for that back-end user, just like Derek in the AD. And then the offline scanning is great because it allows every stadium that we've ever been in, every school is going to at some point have Wi-Fi issues. We all know it. We can prepare for it as much as we'd like to, but our system will recognize that there's a connection issue. It will jump offline. It allows the people to still scan those tickets, and then it will update. So offline scanning is definitely going to be a very big game changer for a lot of our schools. Really looking forward to that one and see this fall.
Oh yeah, I can see that one just being a big hit. Um, Derek, both you and Riley talked about the partnership that exists between Hometown, the provider, and the school-based AD. So many companies, and again, I was in education for 41 years. They sell you a product and then you never hear from them again. You recently had a situation at your school that really illustrated, that tightness of that partnership. Can you share that with our listeners?
So that goes back to we touch so many different things, and I can honestly say all of the vendors we use, there's a deep relationship there, and they know if they get a call from Derek Koonts at Klein ISD, like it's not. I'm just not griping to complain. There's an issue. So we had an issue, and our administrative assistant that was kind of spearing the digital ticketing at that time. Um, I mean, this was probably before the offline scanning was available, right? And she called Riley and ended up FaceTiming her, and then Riley was able to work through that through that process and to provide a level of support there. So you weren't just routed to a help desk or an 800 number or be put on hold. It goes back to the most important thing we do is we serve our kids and we serve people. And Riley and I and Hometown, we have a great partnership where we serve each other, and she knows exactly what we need because we have that relationship. And she asks questions and she's here to take care of us.
Riley, looking back at that event, what are your memories? I can imagine if it was me and there was something wrong, you would literally have to talk me off the ledge. So, how was that for you, trying to help out the Klein ISD athletic department that day?
So, like he said, he does not call just for anything. And that's it. So I know when he's calling, it's something. We touch base as on our friendship level often, but when he's calling me, I know it's something. So I immediately picked up the phone. He's like, "Hey, this is what's going on. She's going to call you from this number," because I did not have her number. And I was like, "Okay." And then she ended up FaceTiming. I was like, "Well, this is going to be fun because there." But my initial reaction is, one, let's figure out what's going on. Let's make the situation better. And then number two, whatever we need to do, that is what Hometown does. We want to go above an extra. That is why we continue to be the leader in the industry, is because we want to take that extra mile. Um, the other thing, I mean, we do have the 1-800 number. We do have support lines that they can call. But for me, I am only as good as people who speak my name. So I will always go above and beyond. And everybody at Hometown, that's what we do.
Again, it's not a surprise to me, but it's just so cool to hear those things. Uh, Derek, you mentioned that you're in year two of using Hometown, and you also mentioned that you were coming out of having used a different platform. What have you seen over that year that lets you know that you made the right decision?
Absolutely. So once we decided to go with Hometown, Riley got me basically a playlist, and I had set deadlines that because the biggest lift is season tickets for football, and you got to get that information out. You got to have your openings and your closings and your grace periods. And you got to get your stadium maps. So she gave me the playlist, and she knew where the potholes were in the road that was coming before us, and did a really good job of prepping us on our end. And when I think back to year one, there were minimal issues. And anytime you do year one of anything, there's going to be issues and hurdles to clear. And we really didn't have that. And I look back to the setup that Riley, the play map that we followed was meticulous, and everything was covered. Our timeline will be better this year. The process will be smoother. Some of the things that we're a little behind on were completely on me. That'll be caught up to speed, and it'll be very seamless. And this year, in year two, we were going all digital for intermediates. So our 7th and 8th graders, we gave them a cash option as a transition. But as we go into year two, it is all digital, and we're going to hit them with the flex passes. And that just makes it easy for those parents that have multiple kids in our district. And then the app feature, once those parents download the app, if they're a high school parent, neighboring school districts, they all use Hometown. They can get on the app, download it, and look up their tickets at the neighboring school district when we go play our rivals.
I'm sorry. You bring up a great point there about, when you roll it out, you need to communicate to the stakeholders, what's going on. And I love how, you took a little ownership there. I was a little bit late in getting that stuff out. Overall, on, let's say, a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say is the feedback you're getting from, the parents, the fans, the people that are using the platform? With 10 being, hey, we love it. Why didn't you do this earlier? To, we want to go back to cash. I know that's not going to happen. What's been the response after 1 year using Hometown?
I would say it's been a 10 out of 10. There's been minimal complaints. So we have 55,000 students with 5 high schools, 10 intermediates, and 33 elementaries. And I think I fielded 1 or 2 complaints throughout the year. But with that complaint, there needs to be an appropriate response. And, they were complaining about having to buy a ticket every week for the same type of game. Well, that's when we just have the flex pass conversation. And then they can buy those flex passes, and they've got it, and they're scanning it. And once they saw the ease of that, I mean, the wind was just taken out of their complaints.
There you go. In typical athletic director fashion, solving someone else's crisis. Well done. Riley, you mentioned to me, and this is the new term, the magic link. Can you share with our listeners what that is?
Of course. So we know that not everybody wants to download another app. There are people who love apps, and that is great. And we want to make sure that we service that clientele. So our app is there and readily available for download and quick and easy use. For those that don't want to download the app, when they go online and they purchase a ticket or they scan the QR code at a gate, it gives them a little button to instantly download their tickets or use their tickets right then and there. They don't have to get out of the browser, then go to their email and get the tickets and pull it up. It allows that magic link. It's just right there. Your tickets are readily available. Just another way that we can service the end user, as well as if you don't, we want you to use the platform how it is, how it's meant to be. Everybody is not the same. So we have options for everybody, every end user, however you want to. So we just really wanted to add that little touch to get to your tickets quickly and efficiently. We don't like lines, and neither do ADs. So that was what we needed to do, and we created that this year. Thankfully, our product team is amazing with that.
Wow, very cool stuff. Thanks so much for both of you for sharing today. Riley, if one of our listeners wants to reach out and find out more, obviously hometownticketing.com, but how can they reach out to you and ask Riley Connolly some questions?
Well, they can always reach me out at riley.connolly@hometownticketing.com.
Okay. And Derek, if any of our EDs or coaches are listening and they want to pick the brain of somebody who's using the product, what's the best way they can get a hold of Derek Koonts?
They can, wow, that's a good question. Everybody finds me whether they want to or not. Email, school email is good. D Koonts, Koonts, the number 1 at Klein, which is KLEIN ISD.net.
He is my boy.
Well, Riley and Derek, thanks again for sharing with our listeners. All the best as we unfold the fall sports season. And we'll look forward to seeing both of you at the NIAAA conference in Austin this coming December.
Looking forward to it.
See you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, for our listeners, we do this every single week, and just about every day we try to share best practices on the Educational AD podcast. We also upload all the videos to the Educational AD podcast YouTube channel. Thanks for listening today. Make sure you go to hometownticketing.com, and we'll see you next time on the Educational AD podcast. Always great to talk to our friends from Hometown Ticketing. We also want to acknowledge our other sponsors. Gipper, go to gipper.com. Huddle, that's huddle.com. Snap Raise, snapraise.com. Home Campus can be found at homecampus.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards at sidelineinteractive.com. Athletic Surveys, athleticsurveys.com. Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Guess what? VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. And the Ohio University Master's Program. That's ohio.edu/info/MAA. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast.